Jordan of the Chicago Bulls put on a memorable individual display in the opening game of the series. Virtually every move Jordan made proved successful. No matter who the Celtics tried, Jordan had the answer. A supreme effort that translated into 49 brilliant points. But when it ended, Michael Jordan and the Bulls came up short. It is the first week of the NBA playoffs, and this is Game 2 of the best-of-5 first-round action, and the Celtics will try to make it 2 in a row over the Bulls before the 262nd consecutive sellout in Boston Garden. Looking at the Eastern Conference playoff fight, Atlanta already has a 2-0 lead. Milwaukee will try for 2 in a row against New Jersey later today, and Philadelphia will try to rebound from a stunning loss to Washington on Friday night. And hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and welcome to the NBA on CBS. Well, the Boston Celtics won more games than anyone this year in the league. They had the biggest winning streak at 14. They have won more championships, as everyone knows, at 15. But perhaps the most impressive number was their fantastic and astounding home court record, 40-1. And 31 consecutive games to finish the season in the regular year, and then they beat Chicago in the first game. Tommy Heinsohn will be inducted into basketball's Hall of Fame on May the 6th, who played for the Boston Celtics. On this very floor, this team apparently has no weaknesses. Is that true?
They have a very strong inside game, Dick. Multiple low-post players. Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Bill Walton, Larry Bird. Very difficult to stop. Timely defense, team defense, the best kind. So they're very difficult to stop. Outside shooting, they've got it all.
Now, the Chicago Bulls, with over 50 losses, 52 to be exact, the worst record of any team in the playoffs, but they have a good excuse. They never really found an identity this year. All kinds of injuries, suspensions. Michael Jordan, the biggest one. He went down with a broken left foot on the third game of the year, missed 3/4 of the season. But did he light up this place on Thursday night with a brilliant 49-point effort? Jordan, is he single-handed for Chicago? What's the story there?
Too much for one man to try and beat the Boston Celtics. Other players have to get involved. Michael Jordan scored half their points in the first half on the other night, and they end up 2 points down. That's astounding. But it's too draining an experience, and they must put pressure on the other Celtic defenders by getting the likes of Dave Corzine, Kyle Macy involved, as well as Orlando Woolridge.
All right, so that's the story right here, and Pat O'Brien is with the man who lit up the place, Michael Jordan.
Thank you, Dick. Michael just got a nice round of applause here. The question is, can one man beat the Lakers, or do you need a more diversified attack today?
Well, we're playing the Boston Celtics, Pat, but I think it's going to be more of a 5-man game, and we really have to play a complete basketball game. I don't think one man can beat the Boston Celtics.
It's hard to imagine that 6 weeks ago you were sitting on the bench.
Yes, it is. It's very hard for me to imagine. I'm very happy I'm playing now, and I'm very happy that I can contribute to the team.
All right, thank you. Good luck today. You don't have to remind me again that you are playing the Boston Celtics. Air Jordan's getting ready to take off. The problem is the runway is in Boston, so strap yourselves in. This is the NBA on CBS.
This ESPN Classic program is brought to you by Subaru. Visit us at Subaru.com to see our full line of all-wheel drive vehicles.
We got movement. Go, go, go!
Hang on, Light.
The next generation Subaru Outback comes standard with full-time all-wheel drive.
There it is! Over there!
It delivers incredible traction and control.
I see it!
So you can always be ready to face the unknown.
Did you see the size of that thing?
Yeah, they're kind of cute when they're babies.
Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon from Subaru. How to speak Australian.
Hey!
100-metre dash. Beer. Foster's, Australian for beer.
This Sunday, ESPN Classic presents another real classic. Willie Mays stars in a picture show impossible to forget. A Man Named Mays.
This fella is the greatest baseball player of our time.
From the Big Apple to the Golden Gate Bridge, he turned giants into champions. Now, our motion picture cameras will take you closer to the action than you ever dreamed you could go. It's real classics. It's A Man Named Mays. Sunday night at 9 on ESPN Classic.
The starting lineups for Game 2 are the same as they were for Game number 1. Starting out with the Chicago Bulls. Their leading scorer, Orlando Woolridge, up front. Top rebounder, rookie Charles Oakley, and veteran Dave Corzine. In the backcourt, Michael Jordan and Kyle Macy, playmaker, and Stan Albeck. in his first year as coach of Chicago. For the Boston Celtics, their front court of Kevin McHale, Larry Bird, and Robert Parrish, all amongst the league leaders in scoring and shooting. And in the backcourt, Dennis Johnson, the catalyst on defense, and Danny Ainge. Casey Jones, another marvelous job as coach of the Celtics. Jake O'Donnell and Jack Middleton are the officials, and Jack Neves will be the alternate. And we're underway here. The Celtics in white, the Bulls in red, and Boston controls. Dennis Johnson will check the matchups, guarded by Jordan inside McHale, and McHale gets a quick hoop inside.
Stand all back, hoping that their center, Dave Corzine, will be able to muscle Kevin McHale, take his inside game away from him.
But the Celtics have a definite size advantage over the Chicago Bulls, who may be a little quicker, but they prefer not to run. At least they didn't in the first game. Jordan misses, and McHale gets the rebound. Danny Ainge had a fine year. Larry Bird, guarded by Woolridge. And Corzine gets the rebound for Chicago. Amazingly, in the regular season, in the season series, the Bulls had an edge in offensive rebounding over the Celtics. Not many teams can claim that.
Oakley and Sidney Green, two real quick board bangers.
Green starts in off the bench. Parrish blocks, and they're going to call goaltending against Robert Parrish and credit Michael Jordan. So it looks already as if the Celtics are going to give a lot of help to Michael Jordan.
The first defense against Michael Jordan is Dennis Johnson. He's got to try and keep him out of the middle and angle him off the hoop a little bit.
They tried 5 different players on Jordan. Ultimately, he got a bit fatigued. Not before 49 points, however. Dennis Johnson hit 7 in a row in one stretch in the third period. Misses here.
One of the things I was looking for early, Dick, is the tempo of the game by the Bulls to try and get some fast break opportunities.
Jordan found his way in once again and has his second basket. All 4 points in the early going, and a minute and a half has transpired. McHale guarded by Corzine. Toughest matchup in the league, maybe.
Corzine does not have the foot speed to stay with McHale, who gives power forwards, much quicker players, a lot of problems.
Last year, he was the 6th man until the playoffs. Cedric Maxwell gone from the scene with the Clippers, and so McHale was the starter this year. Nearly 2 minutes elapsed. Corzine, good pass from Jordan inside with Parrish with a block shot. Good pass, but Parrish was there.
That was an attempt to get Corzine involved.
Parrish guarded by Oakley, and a big size edge there. Goes up, and Corzine with a fine play just stuffed Parrish. And Chicago coming back in a tie game. Jordan with a move on Johnson, blocked by McHale. And already you see that everyone is going to take a hand. Stan Albeck sees too in trying to help Dennis Johnson guard Michael Jordan.
If they get by, if Michael Jordan gets by Dennis Johnson, the other Celtics are going to clog up the lane, it looks like.
What should Jordan do in that case?
Look, either put it off the glass and hope that one of his freer players can get an offensive rebound, or make a direct pass to one of those free players.
Bird, good position inside. Gets it out to Ainge. McHale again. McHale with another basket. McHale has 6, and Jordan has 6, and we're tied with those numbers.
Corzine, with all his speed, is still letting Kevin McHale get the sweet position down and close to the hoop.
Nearly 3 minutes gone by, opening period, and we're tied. Orlando Woolridge, long range. Woolridge scored 37 points and had a tremendous game in the one game the Bulls beat the Celtics in the regular year.
They did it with fast break basketball, Dick. And I think that's where Orlando is at his best, out on the open court. In the first game, the Bulls did not use that speed advantage at all.
Parrish scored after McHale's miss. Celtics known for getting the ball down court in a hurry in a lot of ways. Jordan short there. Inside, Oakley fights his way. Tipped up and finally drops in. May have been Corzine, and it was. And we'll have a foul against Chicago. Dave Corzine commits the foul.
Well, Corzine, an attempt right here, as trying to take away position, but you can't let Kevin McHale get that close to the hoop.
McHale misses the shot. And here's Jordan over to Woolridge. Woolridge averaged 29 against the Celtics this season. McHale the rebound out to Ainge. Chicago getting back defensively.
He has a great inside position on a rebound, but didn't use it.
Ainge throws the ball into the third row. And Casey Jones, who has won 60 or more games 4 times. Both teams shooting well in the opening moments. 8:07 on the clock. Chicago by 2. McHale finds Parrish, and Oakley fouls him. What can you do realistically, Tommy, when you have a 6'9" Oakley and a Corzine who's 6'11", but not a big 6'11", against the likes of McHale, Parrish, and later on Walt?
What they're trying to do, Stan Albeck, is put experience against Kevin McHale and Dave Corzine, knowing that the Celtics don't like to use Parrish. He's their second low post option, hoping that the Celtics won't use that against Oakley to take advantage of his inexperience.
Here's Parrish, who symbolized the size edge with a 14 rebound average against the Bulls in the 6 games during the regular year.
I think that matchup, Parrish against Oakley, is their saber matchup. Whenever they really have some problems, they may go to that one.
We're tied at 10. Game has been tied 5 times. Corzine moving outside. Bird guarding him, if you want to call it that. Bird does not like to guard someone. The basket counts, and a good play and a slice move in there by Orlando Woolridge.
Interesting matchup stick by Casey Jones. Bird is guarding Corzine, and McHale takes Woolridge. Normally, you would expect Bird to take Woolridge, but Casey feels McHale, the bigger player, will be able to do a better job, take away the speed of Woolridge.
McHale with the personal foul and a 3-point play by Orlando Woolridge. And Chicago leads 13-10. Parrish up against Oakley. Out of bounds. Chicago ball. Of course, Larry Bird, as you pointed out many times in the past, is probably one of the best safety men. A good team defender, not perhaps individual defender. So the last thing Casey wants to do is to have Bird guard one of the firepower men for Chicago.
It's too much of a burden for Bird, and it's a smart adjustment by Casey Jones, in my opinion.
Oakley hits from outside, so 4 of the starting 5 have scored for the Chicago Bulls. So they have spread the sugar around a little bit. Dennis Johnson gets his own rebound and try to get it over to Larry Bird, and Oakley may be called for his second personal foul. What a year and a strong finish for the 9th pick, Charles Oakley.
He's going to be a bona fide star in this league if he isn't already. He's got some things to learn, like how to get that shot off in the low post, but boy, does he bang on the boards.
Actually drafted by Cleveland and then traded to Chicago in the deal involving Keith Lee, the rookie from Memphis State. Came from Virginia Union. A year later is playing at Boston Garden in the NBA playoffs.
Celtics stick starting off not running as well, just like the other night.
Feed to Aid. Dennis Johnson. There's Walton and Seasting on the Celtic bench. Maybe the key reasons why the Celtics have had such a great year, and good passing by Boston. And it's 15-12. Of course, the Bulls are getting back defensively. Stop that break.
When the Celtics put the pressure on the defense by pushing it up fast, that's when they're at their best, both for layups and low post play.
8 on the shot clock. Oakley hit 1, fakes Parrish, goes in strong, and gets the basket. Charles Oakley at 6'9", leading rebounder for the Bulls this year.
Stan Albeck's shot chart has to be complete by now.
The only man who hasn't scored in the starting group has been Kyle Mason. Ames goes for 3 and nearly had it. Spun out. Rebound by Oakley. Chicago had a 12-point lead in the first half of the game against the Celtics Thursday. Jordan trying to fake Bird, can't do it. Hits the jumper, but Bird played pretty well defensively against Jordan.
Hey guys, listen up. You want a competitive edge in the gym, at work, even in the bedroom? Want to look and feel great every day? Then you've got to know about Men's Health. It's packed with information that can change your life. Workout tips that burn away that belly and build loads of muscle. Stress-busting techniques that put you back in charge of your life. And wait until you see what it does for your love life. With Men's Health, she'll forget every other man she's ever met. Let's go to Chicago. Lori?
Matt, the response is incredible. Women say men who read Men's Health know secrets about driving them wild other guys don't. And right now, Men's Health is making an unbelievable offer. Get a free trial issue plus 3 guidebooks free. Power Nutrition, Amazing Abs Made Easy, and Drive Women Wild.
Guys, you can't afford to miss out on Men's Health. Call now for your free trial issue. Continue and get a year's worth of sex tips, workout tricks, and nutrition secrets, plus 3 fabulous guidebooks free. Call now. Men's Health. Hey, this is tons of useful stuff.
He's really like my brother. I look up to him.
It's great to see him working toward his future.
He made a smart decision.
ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-942-0099 or visit us on the web. Take advantage of our programs in information technology. A more flexible schedule to reach your goals. Call 1-800-942-0099 today.
Barkley for three! 27-year-old Steffi Graf, Wimbledon champion. Up the ice comes Lemieux. Lemieux dances and it's goal! 1 second on the clock.
You really don't need a game plan when you've got a guy like Mario Lemieux.
Jordan comes in replacing George Gervin, who I don't believe even attempted a shot in the time he was in there. Foul was on Corsi for three-point play with 5 minutes to go. Cuts the Bulls lead to 2.
Well, that's a terrible thing. A guy like George Gervin, with all the playoff experience and a great offensive ability, not to get a shot off while he's in there. He's a weapon.
Bird guarding Banks. Rainbow shot. Misses. Paxson, safety man, intercepts. Into Banks. Good spin move, but Walton blocks it. And Walton's, or they said Banks stepped on the line. It's going to be Boston ball. So Bill Walton playing a major role off the bench. And Sidney Green, who played 11 minutes, coming back in the ball game for Chicago. And the crowd is up because the Celtics can tie it here. And they do. No. Before the shot.
Gene Banks is really having his problems offensively and defensively. I think he's talking to himself and making this game much more difficult than it has to be. Taking some bad shots. Last time he had Walton in the low post. Whenever he thinks that's a mismatch in his favor, he got to go back to the scoring, back to the playbook, because there's no way he should be taking Bill Walton to the hoop in the low post.
Banks goes out. He scored 4 points, and Larry Bird can tie the game. We have had 5 ties early on before Chicago moved out in front and led by as many as 11. It's the first tie since we were knotted up at 10 apiece. 4:20 remaining in the first half. Chicago led 33-25 after 1 period. Bird is on Green. Ball knocked away. It's still Chicago.
Oh, if Bird forced to guard Sidney Green, that might be a good matchup for the Bulls to go to. Let Green get in the low post.
McHale is guarding Woolridge, who's been ice cold. Jordan against Dennis Johnson. Jordan puts Chicago up again, 45-43. 19 for Michael Jordan. That's his first points of this second period.
That's what the Celtics do so well. They pick on people. The Bulls are not picking on people here in the first half.
They don't have that many weapons, although if they go with a quick team, that may be their answer. Seasting misses. Woolridge the rebound. Chicago does have a quickness edge on the Celtics generally down the roster.
Have not used it that effectively, other than to, quick steps like this from Michael Jordan.
Jordan going in, baseline, defended by Walton. Out of bounds, Celtics ball, and Jordan shows a little frustration. Dennis Johnson over Jordan. Sidney Green the rebound. 3:15 to go. Jordan inside to Woolridge. Basket good and a foul. And that looked like the Celtics playbook.
When he gets in the paint, remember, try and angle him off. He gets everybody looking because their concern is him, and he has become alert himself as a decoy for somebody to slip behind the defenders who have lost their attention, and Woolridge was smart that time to get open.
Interestingly enough, Walton with the foul, his third, so the 2 Celtic centers, Parrish and Walton, each are burdened with 3 personal fouls right now, and Parrish on the bench. 48-43 in favor of Chicago, winding down to 3 minutes to go in the half. Danny Ainge will return, and Jerry Seasting goes out for the Celtics, and we'll have a timeout ourselves with just 1 second, less than 3 minutes to go in the half.
How
to cut your monthly bills by as much as 50% or more.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Sometimes, no matter how hard you work at it, you just can't seem to make ends meet. You're writing those checks every month, and you just barely have enough money to pay your bills, much less save anything. Want to change all that? Here's how. Call Home 123. They can help you cut your monthly bills by as much as 50%. Let's say these are some of your monthly payments. Home 123 can show you how to turn all those payments into one low monthly payment that could be as little as half of what you're paying now. In this example, that would be almost $500 in monthly savings. Just think what you could do with money like that. You could make it happen right now with one call. If you own your home, call Home 123, even if your credit isn't exactly perfect. They'll come up with a loan that's right for you. Call now and see how easy it can be to make ends meet. Call 1-800-HOME-123 or visit us on the web at home123.com. It's how to get the money you need.
Celtics inbounding, and Larry Bird. What's the story with Bird today? How are the Bulls playing?
Bird said that his prime function, he thought, was to really develop the inside game for the others and not to look for a shot. But the Bulls are also getting out there and challenging him on his outside shot.
McHale draws the foul. And looks like he hit his head. McHale scored all his 12 points in the first period. He has none this quarter. Larry Bird has all of his 11 this period.
Let's see what happens here. He gets sandwiched, and somebody comes over. And actually, what happened, it looked like he got a little whiplash or an elbow in the forehead.
Dave Corzine commits his third foul. Oakley and Corzine each with 3. So McHale trying to get the cobwebs out. Want to remind you that you're watching the second game of a best-of-5 first-round NBA playoff at Boston Garden. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn here on CBS. The Boston Celtics with the best record in the league and a 41-1 record at the Garden this year, trailing right now 48-43 and 2:56 to go in the first half. Foul Story. Parrish and Walton, the two Celtic centers, have 3, and Oakley Corzine also 3.
And his eye is cut there, too, Dick. That was a nice little elbow he got there.
Chicago had scored 5 in a row to break a 43 all-time before the free throw. 13 on the shot clock. Jordan inside to Woolridge, spins around, basket counts, and a foul. Great move by Orlando Woolridge, and keep in mind he's had a knee problem and a sprained wrist, but he showed no effects of it there.
They played a little 2-on-2 basketball, and that freed up Woolridge. He was Dennis Johnson ended up on him originally. McHale has been trying to guard him, but when you do stuff like that, the Celtics switch a lot. You got to look for the advantage on the mismatch. They finally got to it.
Foul was on McHale, his second. It's 50-44, 2.5 minutes to play in the opening half. Chicago leading, and they've led practically all the way in this first half. Bird banks it, tips out, tipped in the air. Volleyball comes down to Ames. Walton. McHale in the corner. Ames scraps his way. And a new clock. Bird inside to McHale, and the basket. Celtic passing at its very best, and it's a 4-point Chicago lead. 2 minutes to go in the half.
You know, the guard's patience of the Celtics to find that good matchup is what really makes this team click.
Jordan controlling against Dennis Johnson, and they isolate him. Misses it all. Save though. Green. Jordan. And the rebound by Walton. The Bulls did everything but score on that sequence. Bird tries that extra pass. Whistle. No basket, and a 3-second violation called against Boston. And even Stan Albeck's enjoying this first half.
Danny Ainge makes one great steal here. Goes up high. I mean, that's a great athletic skill there to take it away from a bigger man.
4-point lead for Chicago. Sidney Green is up on high, setting a screen. Johnson trying to fight through it on a switch. Bird guards Jordan, and Jordan hits the jumper anyway. Michael Jordan, 21 points, and it's 52-46 Bulls. Looking inside to McHale, nothing doing. Corzine denying. Dennis Johnson misses a three. Walton, though. Jordan with under a minute to go, and the ball bouncing into the hands of the Bulls. Corzine inside to Paxson. Paxson gets the basket, and now the Chicago Bulls have opened it up 54-46, and they have been the strong team down the stretch in this quarter.
They played good push-up basketball that time. Some of the Celtics' big people didn't get back.
McHale, off balance, draws the foul. Stan Albeck made comments after game one that he got less of a break from the officials, and that the Celtics were able to use mayhem, to say the least, inside. Of course, Casey Jones said, well, if they're playing a physical game, what do you expect? They should commit most of the fouls. In any event, Corzine has number 4.
Well, I used to be a coach. I used to use rhetoric like that, too. It's like a coach's book for coming into the Boston Garden on how to get the officials on your side. Not just the Boston Garden, but anytime you're on the road.
Doesn't seem to help much here, looking at the record of the Celtics this year. You can see the blood on the jersey of Kevin McHale from that cut left eye. Hits the free throws. Banks is in the ball game with 38 seconds to go. Chicago leading by 6. And they'll call the foul on Ainge. Second foul, but that will put the Celtics into the penalty. And so John Paxson will shoot 2.
That was kind of a chicken foul. It looked more like Paxson fell down and Ainge fouled him.
Paxson, of course, comes from a great bloodline of basketball people. Of course, he must have played against his dad.
I certainly did. A great player.
With the Lakers and the Royals, and his brother, of course, Jim, is with the Portland Trailblazers.
They want this man here to shoot more. They want him to get that outside shot going. They feel he can push it up the floor better than even Kyle Mason.
34 seconds to go. 8-point lead for Chicago. Their biggest lead was 11. Ainge taking it all the way in. Bird tipping. Walton tips it in. And Bill Walton, with 6 points in the ball game and 13 rebounds, has been the key center, not Parrish so far for the Celtics.
Celtics used some great stuff on the offensive boards on those fast breaks. That penetration by Danny Ainge that time, even though he missed it, he produced the 2 points for the team. 6
on the shot clock, so there's a 3-second differential. Jordan with a fake shot and draws the foul. Dennis Johnson, beside himself with frustration after that, did not agree with it. That's his first personal foul.
When Michael Jordan beats you going to the right, you have to lean across him and bring your hand down, and that's when the official will normally call the foul.
Mike Tebow, who's one of the assistant coaches with Chicago, said about Jordan, he's got the jump shot ability of a Jerry West and the ability to go to the hoop of a Julius Erving. Pretty good people to be compared with.
I call him Mercury. You ever hold Mercury in your hand, he's all over the place.
Foul with 3 seconds to go, and now it's Michael Jordan who is complaining. There is Mike Tebow kneeling down. Actually, Tebow is not on the bench. He must be upstairs sending in plays from the top.
The helicopter, huh?
Sidney Green gets called with his 3rd personal foul. Corzine has 4. Oakley and Green 3 for Chicago. Parrish and Walton each with 3 for Boston.
The Bulls have played as well as they can play, and the Celtics really haven't gotten their game together whatsoever, and the Celtics are still in it.
Celtics are rarely out of it this early. I guess, though, in the one loss they experienced to Portland here, they were out of it early. That was a rout.
Right.
1 out of 2, 2 seconds to go, and then that shot will not count if it goes. Larry Bird had 12 all this period, but Michael Jordan has 23 points, and the Chicago Bulls, who need a win here, and that would make headlines in any event, any team beating the Celtics at Boston Garden, lead 58-51 at half.
This ESPN Classic program is brought to you by Philips, technology that's making life a little better all the time.
We asked the Hartford Wolfpack to try the Norelco reflex action for 21 days. There were signs of resistance.
Get that electric out of my face. This ain't gonna do nothing on my beard.
But then they began realizing how it adjusted to the contours of their faces for an unexpectedly close, smooth shave without the nicks and cuts of a blade.
Kind of like the Zamboni, eh?
Even their fans noticed they were changed men.
Look at you pretty boys, so smooth.
The Norelco reflex action. It's guaranteed or your money back. Norelco, put it to the test.
How to speak Australian. 100-metre dash. Beer. Foster's, Australian for beer.
As soon as he hit 30, Dad started losing his hair.
I had it when I needed it.
So I knew it could be in the cards for me. And at the first sign of fallout, I checked it out with a dermatologist. And he said Rogaine every day, right at the source of the problem. I've used Rogaine for 2 years now, and I don't see any difference. And that's the idea. You keep the hair you have.
Rogaine, recommended more by dermatologists than any other treatment.
It's stronger than heredity.
He's a coach.
This time I want to see 3 things.
A teacher. A friend.
Yeah, what, are we trying to make this kid's life impossible?
He's the White Shadow. The classic series now only on ESPN Classic.
From what I hear, you guys need a basketball coach real bad.
This old school pro turned coach shows these inner city high school kids what life's really about. Nobody said it'd be easy, but Ken Howard is.
Like a White Shadow.
The White Shadow, weekdays at 10, only on ESPN Classic.
Let's take a look at some of the key statistics of the first half. Michael Jordan owned the backcourt. 23. The Celtics combined had only 8. Rare for the Chicago Bulls to turn it over only 1 time in a half. But that's what they did. But when it came to the offensive rebounding, Boston owned that aspect of the game, and they out-rebounded the Bulls 33-18. And when was the last time you saw the Celtics shoot 38% in a half? And that's what they did. Yet they trailed by only 7, underway third period. Kyle Macy in the backcourt along with Michael Jordan, who has the ball now. Gene Banks starts at forward with Oakley and Woolridge.
This is a very unusual lineup that the Bulls have out there. Who is playing center? Oakley, Woolridge. They got a small front line in there, the Bulls, but very fast. Maybe they're going to run.
Celtics' only lead in the game was 2-0 to start things. Inside of McHale. McHale starts things in the second half. And he has 19 points, and it's a 5-point lead. Oakley hardly played in that first half. As a matter of fact, just 7 minutes and scored 4 points. Sidney Green, the key man again, perhaps off the bench, as Woolridge misses. He's taken some wild shots, hasn't he?
I think he got fouled that time.
Looking inside, McHale against Oakley and company. Misses that shot. Parrish underneath the hoop. Had to bring it out. Lost it out of bounds. Celtics with a tremendous domination off the glass. Woolridge with 13 points. He has the ball along with Jordan's 23. Woolridge missed inside.
Woolridge on that one-on-one game, I think they ought to park that for a while and find somebody else.
Banks working against Bird on a post-up. McHale tried to double team, and Woolridge misses again. Here's Michael Jordan. Basket will be good and a foul, and 25 for Michael Jordan in the game.
You know, this lineup that they have in here, I got to ask him after the game why it's in there, because there's no real size. And
no real strength.
There's Oakley's pretty strong, but there's no inside game or board banging going on.
You mean Sidney Green?
Sidney Green, I think. He's got 3 fouls. Maybe they're trying to save him, but McHale can have a field day against this unit.
Minute and a half gone by in the third period. 61-53, an 8-point lead. Bird inside the 3-point line, hits for 2. Larry Bird has 14 points. They've been not allowing him to get that shot off, haven't they?
They've been in his jersey with him. They've taken his defender out of the normal team defense.
Ainge is on Macy, who has attempted only 1 shot in the ball game. Woolridge working against McHale goes in, and a good move by Orlando Woolridge, 15 in the game.
I guess they're going to give it to him until he gets it right.
6 for 18 is the shooting for Woolridge. 33%. Ainge for 3. And the rebound by the O.
Stan Holbeck does not have a lot of respect for Kevin McHale's defense.
Jordan goes up. No basket and a foul. Dennis Johnson with his 3rd personal foul and a timeout here with 9:38 to go in the 3rd.
Can your radio do this? Only one radio can give you stereo sound this big, yet is small enough to fit almost anywhere. The extraordinary Wave Radio from Bose. Press the remote control and hear big, rich sound that fills the room. Sounds so rich, Popular Science called it a sonic marvel. You hear music the way it was meant to be heard. Clear, full, incredibly lifelike. You've got to hear the Wave Radio to believe it, and now you can. Satisfaction guaranteed. Call toll-free to hear it in your home. Ask about our popular interest-free 6-month payment plan. Experience big stereo sound from a radio. Call today. It will make a difference in the way you listen to music. A big difference.
Wear what the players wear. Anywhere you want. And if you want it authentic, log on to the NBA store on NBA.com. There's the widest assortment of NBA products, and we're open all day and all night.
This is impossible. Look at it.
Like that?
So if you want to keep it real, keep it authentic. The NBA store on NBA.com.
Crowd has turned up a notch here. See how Chicago responds. Woolridge. Banks quiets them for the moment at least.
Oh, what a smart play by Gene Banks. Got right in there as they went to the penetration, got the good position on the offensive board.
Celtics spreading out their offense, making Chicago play more one-on-one defense, not the team variety. Ainge with a move on Macy. And the foul on the pass. So one-shot foul. Let's watch Banks here on the glass you talked about.
There's Larry Bird going to the penetration, and look at Banks coming right in there, steps inside with nobody really blocking him out.
Timeout called by Boston with 6:27 remaining in the 3rd.
There are deals on internet service. There are deals on long distance. But there's only one way to get a great deal on both. Call 1-800-PIN-DROP and sign up for Sprint 1000 nights with unlimited Earthlink internet access. For just $30 a month, you get 1,000 minutes of state-to-state long distance to use every night of the week. Plus, you'll also get unlimited internet access. Surf the web, check email, shop online, anytime you want. It's all in one simple plan with one simple bill for one great price. Just $30 a month gives you unlimited internet access, plus 1,000 minutes of nighttime state-to-state long distance. Sign up now for Sprint 1000 nights with unlimited Earthlink internet access. One service, one bill, one low price. Because some things were just meant to be together. Hook up with Sprint and Earthlink at 1-800-PIN-DROP or visit sprint.com.
If you have thinning hair, then this new booklet is something you should have, and you'll get it free if you call this toll-free number now. The booklet discusses the recent breakthroughs in genetic therapy and the latest non-surgical advancements. You'll see men like yourself who are able to get their hair back without drugs or surgery and have a totally active lifestyle. Whether you're getting it wet or roughing it up, no matter what sport, it looks, feels, and acts just like your own growing hair. So call 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now for your free booklet. And by the way, I'm also a client.
Standing at just under 7 feet, this basketball legend was known as Chocolate Thunder. Anyway, that's how my episode's going to start. But until then, check this out.
Feller was a great pitcher. To have seen Bob Feller's curveball was to have looked into the depths of hell.
Feller was the greatest pitcher of his time.
Bob Feller, an all-new original episode of Sports Century, tomorrow at 8 on ESPN Classic.
Sports Century, the top 50 and beyond.
Celtics have won 32 in a row at home, but the point is, in the best all-time home record in the history of the league, at 40-1, every home team has won so far in the playoffs, with the exception of the first game when the Bullets shocked Philadelphia with that 18-0 spurt at the end.
Well, the further you go into the playoffs, Dick, the home court advantage isn't as great because the teams are closer together in talent, and they're closer together in mental toughness and battling against the home crowd.
No, one thing, and that is the Houston Rockets with a 2-0 lead over Sacramento have to play that Tuesday night game in the Arco Dome where the Kings were unbeaten this year. We'll see if that jinx continues.
Very impressed with the Bulls in this quarter. They've used a lot of good, solid offense.
Bird from Walt. Even with that strange lineup, huh?
With that strange, I got to ask him after the game why he came on. I never would have thought of this lineup.
Folks, if you want to know what Tommy's doing after the game, he'll be asking Stan Albeck about his lineup.
They don't have a true center in there.
Woolridge working against McHale. The basket is good and a foul. Orlando Woolridge gets the hoop. And Woolridge now with 19 points.
You know what I think it is, Dick? I think that Stan Albeck really feels that there's not enough good one-on-one defenders on the Celtics. Here's the move by Woolridge against McHale. He feels McHale can't guard Woolridge. That's why he's attacking him. I would have never believed it myself. I think McHale's a very good defensive player.
Another point here. The Celtics shot 38% in the first half. They're 7 for 9 so far in the third period, and the Bulls have added a point to their lead. And a whistle before the shot. Illegal defense against Chicago, and that's a technical foul. The second time an illegal defensive call is made, it's a technical. So Danny Ainge, who's been shooting, interestingly enough, Larry Bird was the free throw shooting champion this year, but Ainge has been shooting the tees lately.
We have not seen any tempo in this game in the third quarter whatsoever. This has been a chess match with Boris taking 2 minutes to think about his next move. That's how long the game is developing as far as I'm concerned. No pace whatsoever.
Dennis Johnson with the ball.
Boris with the ball.
Yeah, 5:40 to go. Bird going in on Banks. And Larry Bird with a left-handed move with 20 points now in the ball game. Keep in mind he did not score until there were over 9 minutes remaining in the first half.
Well, they didn't double him that time, and Banks forced him to the middle. Made him take a tough shot.
He's 4 for 4 this half. Macy hits it, and the foul on Ainge. And I'm sure Casey Jones is saying, here's a guy that's taken 1 shot in the game. Why foul him all the way out there?
Well, that's a shot. And you know, I think when you take a long-distance shot like that, Kyle Macy, if he hits it, and all of a sudden it changes your thinking on the way you're going to drop into the paint to help. You got to go out there and try and shut him down a little bit.
Ainge with 3. Well, they got burned to a 3-point fairly well, and it's 77-69. Once again, Chicago by 8 with 5 minutes, 10 seconds to go.
Maybe ISO Bird.
Foul against Chicago. You're right. If Chicago can do it with Woolridge and or Jordan, the Celtics can do it with Larry Bird.
And nobody got to the rotation to stop that cutter quite quick enough. Almost got a hoop out of it.
2 fouls now on Orlando Woolridge, and Johnson is shooting 2 shots.
Well, Bird is responding to the defense that the Bulls are playing against him. One time he doesn't get doubled, he makes the swooping move into the lane. This time he gets doubled, he sets up 2 easy free throws.
Is that taking what the defense gives you?
Well, he's a guy that, as I said in the beginning, takes advantage of every half inch. Imagine if you give him a yard.
6-point game, Chicago leading. Biggest lead was 11 in the first half. They had a 10-point lead here in this period. Jordan with a juke and a move, and Dennis Johnson got a piece of it.
Boy, that was some defensive play by Dennis Johnson.
Celtics can cut it to 4. Knocked away, Chicago ball.
That was a terrible call. Terrible call. The man was on his arm. Should have been a foul.
Jordan out up on top. A 1-4 offensive alignment for the Bulls. Macy working Ainge. Banks. Woolridge. Swung it nicely, but Woolridge missed it all. And the Celtics once again with a chance to cut it to 4. Bird. He lost his footing, but yet made the layup. And a timeout by Stan Albeck. It's a 4-point Chicago lead.
A door that won't get dings. It's not as important as an engine.
Now brighten up everyone's day with the new wild and wacky singing, talking Louie the Largemouth Bass.
It sounds a bit fishy to me.
Watch. Every time Louie senses you're near, this amazing mounted fish leaps to life.
Are you looking at me?
Realistically detailed, his mouth moves in sync to music, too. So when he turns to face you, you'll think Louie is singing right to you. Louie livens up any gathering. He's always the center of attention at every party.
Hey, I'm some catch. You try that again, pal, and you'll be sleeping with the fishes.
So call now on this special TV offer and surprise your friends with Louie the Largemouth Bass for only $19.99. Whether he's mouthing off,
face it, baby, you're hooked on me,
or singing a tune, everyone agrees this largemouth bass is quite a catch.
Call now to order your Louie the Largemouth Bass for only $19.99 plus shipping. Have your credit card ready and call the number on your screen, or send check or money order to the address on your screen. Don't let Louie slip away. Call now to catch Louie the Largemouth Bass.
We built the Xterra. We didn't set out to win Motor Trend's SUV of the Year.
To come in and make a layup. That's what pace can do for the Celtics.
Bird 5 for 5 this half, 22 in the ball game. Jordan and Woolridge have 48 of Chicago's 77 points. Jordan. And the Bulls still have it. Three-point shot missed by Macy.
That one was not necessary.
Under 4 minutes remaining in the third period. Keep in mind that the Bulls had a 7-point lead in the way they were playing. Tommy's opinion, anyway, should have had a bigger lead. The Celtics getting an extra life. Dennis Johnson is fouled decisively there on the give and go on the pass from Bird.
Well, that time
there is no tougher guard in the league.
They double-teamed Bird, and they isolated Bird down there. Everybody on the weak side of the Celtics is away from the ball, but they did move quickly, but not quick enough.
Wedman replaces McHale, who has 19, but only 2 in this third period.
Well, they are not going to the low post game. Casey Jones says Larry Bird shall lead us out of the darkness, not Kevin McHale, and so far he's been doing a pretty good job.
Bill Walton has been the Celtics center, played more time than Robert Parrish, although both have 4 personal fouls, with 3:42 remaining in this third period.
The Bulls now have to continue to play intelligent basketball like they did the first couple of minutes of this game. They slowed the tempo down. Don't take bad shots. Move it around.
And the Bullets have regained the lead over Philadelphia, 79-75. The Celtics, meanwhile, have scored 6 in a row. And Dennis Johnson attacks Michael Jordan, and that'll be number 4 on DJ. 4 fouls on Dennis Johnson. Welcome to the club. Parrish and Walton, charter members right now.
And Dennis is playing him straight up nose, and that means that Jordan, with that great first step, can get by Dennis because Dennis doesn't have the same kind of foot movement and foot speed.
Jordan is 8 for 8 from the line. Going for his 30th point of the game here.
This is the time of the ball game that you go to Michael Jordan, I think. He's strong. They didn't overuse him in the first half. These are the crunch points.
And we have not seen Sidney Green this half.
No.
There's got to be a reason why. 3:25 remaining in the third period.
I'm going to ask Stan after the game again.
It's 2 questions. Oakley is on Walton. Bird is there with the offensive rebound. Leading Wedman, short shot. And Oakley the rebound. Wedman had a shot he normally makes. Oakley clears with 3:10 to go. Jordan against Ames. 79-75 Boston. Open is Macy. And Macy hits. 7 points for Kyle Macy. And the Bulls, who had their lead cut to 2, now up to 6 again.
When he has time to sight the basket, which the penetration of Jordan gives him, he'll make that shot, Kyle Macy.
Under 3 minutes remaining in the third period. Always been a big period for the Boston Celtics. Knocked away. Celtics possession. Let's bring you up to date again on the foul situation. Corzine and Oakley with 4. Parrish, Walton, and Dennis Johnson with 4. And before the Celtics can inbound, Jerry Seasting will come back in the ball game, replacing Dennis Johnson.
That's going to put Danny Ainge on Jordan.
Drive by Ainge.
And Jordan on Danny Ainge.
And Ainge chalks one up there. And they're down to 4 points now. The first field goal of the game for Ainge.
Ainge might even do a better job than DJ because he's used to playing point guards, shifty guys.
He did the other night with his quickness. Jordan. This is tipped up again. Oakley fighting. Comes down to the Celtics, who can cut it to 2. Is fouled.
How to speak Australian.
Television coming soon to Cox Communications.
And Danny Ainge will go to the line, 90% from the free throw line, to try to bring the Celtics to within 2 points. John Paxson comes into the ball game, and Kyle Macy goes out. Macy with 4 fouls.
Danny Ainge, you know, is a very big guy to play point guards. He's got exceptional quickness for his size, and has learned to contain a real good fast man between his knees. He plays straight on defense, and that's just the type of guy that might do a great job on Michael Jordan.
2 minutes to go in the third period. Ainge with the interception. And it almost went in. So Danny Ainge is clearly the spark plug for the Boston Celtics here in the third period, leading the break, making this great defensive play and getting the crowd into the game.
What a move. Danny, you know, when you're playing Michael Jordan and he knows he's got get that first step on you, boy, that gives him a world of confidence. Danny Ainge right now is saying to him, you can't do it.
And we're tied at 81. 6 in a row run off by the Celtics. And they have erased a 10-point lead here in the third period that the Bulls enjoyed early on. Inside to Jordan. And it's Oakley who gets credit for the basket. Charles Oakley. And a technical foul has been leveled by Jake O'Donnell.
I think that was an unnecessary technical foul by Jake O'Donnell. It was called from one end of the court. Danny Ainge made a gesture, and Jake O'Donnell was completely up the other end of the court. He made it. He's looking good for it.
Jordan, 31 points. And the Celtics trail by 3 with 1:35 to go. Fake Jordan. Good step on Michael Jordan. And the basket. Great first step by Danny Ainge, who keeps the pressure on for the Celtics. And it's 84-83 Chicago.
Taking the tempo away from the Celtics, trying to Michael Jordan right now.
10 points in this period for Ainge. And what a great shot. And a basket and a foul. You talk about Bird's sheer determination at certain points of a game. Michael Jordan has those same qualities.
He's got to watch him get around Jordan, Danny Ainge. And strong left-hand drive. And Walton right there. And here comes Jordan, but Ainge is in front of him, angles him off, turns him loose to the second defender of the Celtics, but Jordan overpowers him.
And Walton has committed his 5th personal foul. Bill Walton has 5. Parrish is on the bench with 4. Under a minute to go, and the Bulls lead by 4. Seasting to Whitman. Bird. And Oakley powers his way for the rebound. And Larry Bird gets called for the foul. That's his second personal foul, and Oakley will shoot.
Here comes the rebound. Oakley well inside, and Bird says, well, I'm going to try and knock it out of your hands from underneath. And he must have hit the ball into his jaw, and Bird said, I hit the ball. What a face, huh?
The face of a winner, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
Here's Charles Oakley, who's a 66% free throw shooter. Kevin McHale, who has 19 points, only 2 this period. Bulls have made their last 14 free throws. Now make it 15. Walton on the bench with 5. Robert Parrish also on the bench. He has 4 fouls. Celtics playing without a center. McHale is playing center at this point. Inside against Oakley. And the foul against Chicago. A push.
A very late whistle. The shot was rebounded.
Sidney Green has come into the ball game. First time he has played in the second half, replacing Charles Oakley. Woolridge has his 4th personal foul, and Parrish with 4 comes back in, replacing Scott Webb. So Sidney Green, who performed so well in the first half for Chicago, with 4 points and 5 rebounds in brief play, in there for the first time this half.
They've got a bigger team in there right now, the Boston Celtics. See if they can capitalize on that bigness, that size.
You ought to be fresh.
Right, because Chicago is not capitalizing on quickness and speed with fast breaks.
Bird is 24. Woolridge powers his way in, blocked by McHale, out of bounds. Chicago still has it. Kevin McHale with the blocked shot. He's had at least 1 block in the last 30 games for the Celtics.
Well, Woolridge rolls back, and there's McHale right there with him.
4th block this game. Jordan against Ainge. Jumper good with 16 seconds to go, 91-85.
Well, Ainge forced him left, forced him right into the second defender, but Jordan with that great leaping ability can go over the big guys, too.
Playing for the last shot. Ainge goes for 3 and hits it. 7 seconds. Chicago has an opportunity, leading by 2. Paxson. Blocked by McHale. And that'll do it.
How to cover Parrish to free Bird. Gene Banks has to roll off, but Bird still has time to get the shot away. And Bird, as we say, only needs a half-inch.
Foul was on McHale, his 3rd. Sidney Green has been in a shooting slump the last month, trying to work his way out of it at a very tough time to do it. Playoffs against Boston.
But this is a low post option that I think has been very fruitful for them in prior ball games. He can go over, Sidney Green can go over Kevin McHale.
Celtics looking to tie it again. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn, 4th period. Game 2, best of 5. Celtics won the opening game, and they're in a dogfight here against Chicago, trailing 92-90. Diving for the loose ball is Gene Banks, but the Celtics still keep possession. Chicago trying to do what only one other team has done all year, beat the Celtics here at Boston Garden.
You know, you have to keep your mind together, Gene Banks, and playing a Larry Bird, particularly in the Boston Garden. You know, they throw 9,000 picks for Larry Bird to get 1 shot. And Banks has the utmost respect for Bird. He says he's the craftiest guy he's ever played against. He learns something new for his own game every time he plays him.
Bird, with 1 second on the clock, hits a 3-pointer. And the Celtics have their first lead since the opening basket of the ball game. Dennis Johnson steals it from Jordan. Inside to Parrish. And traveling call against Robert Parrish. Here is the 3-pointer with the clock running down.
It comes by accident here. Bird has to pop out as they could have called a foul. Instead, Bird, as the clock is winding down, has to let it fly, and he hits it.
So now we'll see how Chicago responds to that knockdown punch by Larry Bird. Bulls with it, trailing by 1. Minute and a half gone by in the 4th period. And a foul. Michael Jordan is fouled by Dennis Johnson, and that'll be number 5 on Dennis. So Johnson with 5, Bill Walton on the bench with 5 fouls, and now he gets off the bench. And Robert Parrish playing with 4, and Parrish will sit down. Parrish today has 6 points and 6 rebounds. There's Orlando Woolridge, who has 20 points in support of Michael Jordan's 36. Now 37 for Jordan. Michael Jordan.
Well, you cannot stop him because he handles the ball so much, and so much a percentage of the offense is designed for him to just get the ball and score.
14 for 14 from the line. Chicago regains the lead. McHale going in and is fouled. Bring up to date on the story involving Michael Jordan. He missed 64 games of the season, and the Chicago management did not want him to play anymore. He had a broken left foot. He wanted to play. They said, okay, you can play. They wanted to limit his minutes, and they did. However, he had to sit down with 30 seconds to go and the game on the line against Indiana. He wanted to play. The crowd howled, and Michael Jordan put his foot down and said to the Chicago Bulls management, I'm going to play basketball. That's what I am, a basketball player. And they had to back down, and Jordan has played. And one of the great tributes to integrity and credibility in this sport is on the shoulders of Michael Jordan, I believe.
I think it is a great story for him to stand there. He loves to play the game, and he wants to be on a winning team.
Nearly 2 minutes gone by in this final period. Boston by 1. Chicago is led virtually all the way. Jordan banks it in, and Jordan with 40 points. He had 49 in game 1.
Seesting went out, Ainge came back in, and Ainge has ended up with the defensive assignment now on
give and go. Bird to Dennis Johnson. Corzine the rebound.
Ainge is going to guard Jordan now.
Sidney Green. Bird. Dennis Johnson. McHale crashing the boards. Who wants it? He was almost on his back, Tommy.
He's figuring he's going to get a foul on the play, too, but no whistle.
Celtics by 1. 3 minutes gone by, 4th period. And a foul away from the ball. Here it is.
They're really banging on the boards. McHale trying to keep it live. Bird knocks it away. There's McHale, gets submarined and shoots the ball, and it should have been a foul.
Astonishing shot by Kevin McHale. The foul was on Danny Ainge, his 4th personal foul. It's been seesaw now, 6 lead changes, but most of them in the last 2 minutes. Jordan working against Ainge now. Jordan, if he was hit on the hand, it looked like he lost control of the ball, but he was pushed. And if that's on Ainge, that's 5 on Dan. That is. Did McHale have an assist on this?
Well, Danny is trying to stay one-on-one with him, bodies him. That's the wrong thing to do, to body him. And then McHale pushes Ainge into Michael Jordan.
That was on Ainge.
A lot of fouls called on the 2 guards defending against Jordan right now. They're trying to save Dennis Johnson for the stretch against Michael Jordan. Having Ainge play him now.
42 points. That's what you want. You want Dennis Johnson to be there down the stretch. And he has 5 on the bench, folks. Inside to McHale. See you later. You overplay against McHale, and he gets the ball. Just count it. And the Celtics regain the lead. 25 for Kevin McHale.
Boston is really having trouble getting pace going because there's so much poise right now by the Bulls to get the shot they want.
Jordan misses. Woolridge has the rebound. Chicago Bulls are playing as if they've been in the playoffs every year for 10 years. Sidney Green misses, and finally the Celtics get it, and McHale the rebound. The Celtics Celtics' biggest lead was 2-0, and now they can open up a 3-point lead. Walton, great inside move. Passes to Bird. Doubles quickly. Good rotation for Chicago. Dennis Johnson into the ballgame. Sidney Green is fouled. Going for the ball with 7:50 remaining. Stan Albeck's reaction to the action.
I like the way his tie flops up and down. And, he's got a hop in his step, too, huh?
Larry Bird with his 4th personal foul. Look at the litany of fouls we've got here. We've got Walton with 5, Ainge with 5, Dennis Johnson with 5, Harris with 4, Bird with 4.
Maybe that's what that isolation game is doing, is drawing attention to the individual one-on-one defender. And the move for Casey Jones might be to try and really take the ball out of the hands of a Woolrich or a Michael Jordan with double teams.
7:50 to go, and a lot can happen. But here's a team, the Chicago Bulls, who lost 52 games. This is the first time a team has made the playoffs with 50 or more losses since the Bulls did it in '68. And they're tied in Philadelphia. And I'd have to say the 76ers, you want to use the old cliche, backs against the wall. They're against the wall now. Can't afford to go down 2-0. 2 more games coming up. Bird goes for 3. Celtics lead 102-100. They were down by 1. Now they're up by 2. 32 points for Larry Bird. We told you about Bird and Jordan at the start. Blocked. Paxson has a shot blocked, and Ainge will get an easy basket. Albeck wants a timeout.
I will not be afraid of the dark.
I will not feel guilty leaving my dog alone.
I will feel better about my dad living by himself.
I will know my children are safe.
I will go on vacation and finally be able to relax.
ADT's advanced technology and skilled professionals help more people feel safe in more ways than any other security company. Call now and get ADT's sophisticated burglary system installed for as little as $99. You could also save up to 20% off your basic homeowner's insurance.
I will live my life.
My life.
My life.
On my terms!
Call now and get the ADT burglary system from $99 installed, plus up to 20% off homeowner's insurance. Get the power of ADT.
You're watching ESPN Classic.
Chicago has really got the pace of the game exactly where they want it.
John Paxson guarded by Dennis Johnson. Michael Jordan guarded by Danny Ainge, who's shadowing him. They're isolated.
Game of ISOs right now.
Isolation. They double team now. Walton's come out to meet Jordan. Jordan trying to use his quickness, and it works. Michael Jordan with 44 now in the ball game.
And Walton afraid to foul that time. Backed off Jordan a little bit.
Walton with 5. Next foul, and he's gone. Oakley in there. Guarding Walton. Woolrich on Bird. Bird with 34. Keep in mind, Bird didn't get his first points until 15.5 minutes were gone into the game. And the 2 stars we talked about at the top have not disappointed a soul. Walton trying to double, now picking up Jordan. Jordan isolated one-on-one. They come out. Basket, no basket. The foul before. And Bill Walton is fouled out of the ball game, I believe. Walton is fouled out of the ball game and has played tremendously for the Boston Celtics today.
Little pick and roll action forces Walton to end up with Michael Jordan, and he alertly knows that Walton's in foul trouble and has a good opportunity to take it to the hoop. Now Walton's kind of bumped him before the shot was taken.
Jordan misses the first. Walton, 10 points and 15 rebounds today. Jordan hit his first 16 from the line before he missed there. And he misses both of them. Is that fatigue?
I think it might be, Dick. But you got to miss some free throws once in a while. I think Jordan right now, they did a great job of not asking him to do too much too early.
Just under 6 minutes to go, fourth period. Celtics leading by 4, and they'll call the foul away from the ball.
Property owners, do you spend weeks and months every year raking, blowing, bagging, and
Harris in the ball game. He's playing with 4 fouls. Bill Walton fouled out of the ball game. Dennis Johnson is playing with 5. Bird triple teamed all of a sudden. Paxson gets back to Johnson. And a good, quick defensive move by Paxson.
Yeah, but DJ didn't swing the ball like they normally do to the wide open Danny Ainge, who's had a hot hand here.
Jordan cuts the Celtic lead to 2, and he has 46 points. 5:23 remaining. Keep in mind, the Boston Celtics went into this game with a 41-1 record at Boston Garden, including Game 1 victory over Chicago on Thursday. Corzine on McHale. Double again with Paxson. Harris in a crowd. Jordan the rebound. In Chicago, knowing when to double, alertly playing good team defense.
Confusing them. The Celtics are not aware all the time of where the double is actually coming from and who the open man is.
Bird winds up with the ball and gets it to Ainge. 3-on-1 Boston. Johnson to Ainge and a whistle. Chicago foul as Ainge is slow getting up. This is kind of playoff intensity as John Paxson.
You know, that was a pretty good no call on Bird with that outlet pass. With going down when he made that outlet pass, they easily could have called a foul on that, but the Celtics still didn't get a hoop out of it and not a free throw either.
Harris gets free. Harris with only 8 points in the ball game, his first point since the opening period. But it's good enough to give the Celtics a 4-point lead, 108-104. Nearly 4.5 to play. Jordan is short. McHale lead pass. Paxson tops it over, and Ainge was hit in the eye. Jordan brings it up. Ainge staggered for the moment, and a foul called against Bird. Paxson was shaken up, and so is Danny Ainge.
That was a collision on that long McHale outlet pass. A great athletic move here by Paxson to go over the top of Ainge. And then Ainge gets hit in the jaw by Paxson's elbow. And Paxson really took a header, too. 2 down and 8 to go.
Larry Bird was called for his 5th personal foul.
I have never seen as many fouls called in a game like this. I'm going to see Bird on this outlet pass right now. Somebody's got him. They're holding him. That's where I said before they could have called the foul.
Corzine.
They're going Corzine, which wasn't called, and it was like maybe a good no call because the officials felt that the Celtics had a good fast break advantage.
Chicago's been missing from the line as of late. Something they can't afford to do here. Trailing by 4 with 4:23 to go. 1 out of 2 for Charles Oakley. So Bird with 5 fouls. Dennis Johnson has 5. Walton is fouled out of the game. Parrish, who has 4s on easy street compared to the others. 4:11 remaining. Bird beating Parrish. Blocked. A block by Woolridge, I believe, or Jordan. We'll check. Chicago with a chance to cut it to 1.
What a morale builder that defensive stint was for the Bulls.
Jordan. Like lately the Bulls have been going to Jordan like they did at the start of the last game. Here he is, the move and the basket, and it's a 1-point game as Stan Albeck urges his team on. 108-107, that much time to go in the 4th. This is not the time, though. I mean, I don't know, Tom, what do you think, to ignore the other guys, because you're going to need somebody.
Well,
did Jordan do it himself?
I think Jordan is the guy to go to right now at this phase portion of the game, but the Celtics got to find somebody.
Ainge with a fake on Corzine. Hits the shot. 3-point lead again for Boston.
It looks to me like the Bulls are going to double anything down low that the Celtics try to use McHale or Parrish, so it may end up in a lap of Danny Ainge and Dennis Johnson to win this ball game for the Celtics.
Jordan beating Corzine. Hook shot, good. Corzine, they've rarely gone to him. 6 points in the game for the veteran, and it's 110 to 109. But it's been the Bird and Jordan show. Bird with 34. Michael Jordan has 48 on top of his 49 in game 1 on Thursday night.
By using that little pick and roll beautifully up top, Jordan and Corzine.
Here's the time. McHale misses the shot, and the rebound by Oakley. And now Chicago looking to take the lead. Bulls led most of the way. 11-point Bulls in the first half, a 10-point lead in the second half. Celtics have fought back. Jordan, short jumper, and it drops, and 50 points for Michael Jordan. That's what Dominique Wilkins had for the Atlanta Hawks yesterday.
You get him moving left, and he's still, you think you're going to have an advantage. He's got to bring the ball back to you, but his leaping ability normally takes you right over the top.
11 on the clock, into Parrish, foul. Jordan is saying it was before the shot. And that will result in a timeout with 2:10 to go on the clock of this heated affair. The rookie from Virginia Union, who's been as good as any rookie the second half of this year. Better than most. Ainge. Rare miss for Danny Ainge, a 90%er from the line. Now we'll try to tie it up for the Celtics.
Very cocky kid, loves to be in these type of situations.
We want to welcome the audience that saw the Washington Bullets and the Philadelphia 76ers. This is Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn. We're under 2 minutes to go in a tie game. The Celtics trying to take a 2-0 lead over the Bulls. The 76ers are 1-1 now with their victory over Washington. Michael Jordan has been a sensational show again. 52 points for Michael Jordan, and Chicago leads by 2. The leading scorers in this game, Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. And the Bulls are within 134 of becoming only the second team to beat the Celtics in the Garden this year. Harris, McHale, offensive rebound. Knocked out of bounds. Celtics wanted goaltending. Jordan knocked it out of bounds. No call from the officials. Jordan, by the way, also 16 points in this period.
Celtics trying to find the matchup that can be the most productive. They try to use McHale. Corzine did a decent job on him. Now they're going to, I think, maybe go to Parrish.
10 on the clock. Double on Parrish. Dennis Johnson penetrates, draws the foul, and gets the basket. Big play by Dennis Johnson. Can you imagine he didn't make the All-Star team? There may not be a more clutch backcourt performer in the league all around than Dennis Johnson.
As a double team, they left Dennis Johnson, and he took it to the pack, and Paxson did not get over there quite quick enough. Dennis scored, got a chance for the three-point play.
So tough as a penetrating guard because he's 6'5", and he's got that solid body.
He didn't take the outside shot. He took it to the hoop.
A tough penetrator. Celtics by 1. All eyes on Jordan with 52. Short, but there's Oakley fighting inside. No foul, blocked. Robert Parrish picks it off, and the Celtics, with under a minute to go, have the lead by 3. Make it 114. Now it's 3. Ainge to McHale. .27 for Kevin McHale.
You're watching ESPN Classic.
And the Chicago Bulls have talked things over. 116 to 113, 45 seconds to go. Tommy?
Well, if it doesn't go to Michael Jordan, I'll be very surprised. But what they really have to do, if the Celtics will be jumping at him, is on the shot by Jordan. If he misses, everybody bang the board.
Paxson. Corzine in the corner, inside to Oakley, and a foul. Parrish, that'll be his 5th personal foul, 5 on Robert Parrish. So they went to someone else other than Michael Jordan and Casey Jones.
Well, they beat the Boston press, and here's Oakley underneath, and there was the foul on Parrish. Bird had a hand on the ball. Boston went up and challenged Michael Jordan.
Oakley 66% from the line on the year, 4 for 5 today.
But when they pushed it up, the rest of the defense of the Celtics wasn't into play. Good move by Paxson to create it.
And the Celtics lead by 2. And now Chicago has to play defense right here and not allow the Celtics to score and perhaps not to foul. They'll get another possession. 23 seconds and 11 on the shot clock. Bird guarded by Woolridge. Bird fires it up blindly. Parrish loses it to Oakley. And there are 8 seconds to go, and Chicago calls timeout with 6 on the clock. Now, 2-point ball game. Chicago. Larry Bird threw up a wild shot. Parrish seemingly had the ball, and there was Stan Albeck looking on as Oakley ultimately wound up with the ball.
That was a 4-hop play. And Stan, right on it, calls the timeout. But here's Bird being double-teamed. I think he was really hoping he'd get a foul call that time. Parrish has the rebound, and a nice knockaway by Jordan right into the hands of Oakley. Well, they got the ball to the man they wanted, Larry Bird. Not the best judgment that time. He thought he might have gotten fouled. That's why he let it fly.
All right, so 6 seconds to go, Tommy. The obvious thing is to let Michael Jordan do it, either outside or inside. He has a career high of 52.
Was meant to be heard. Clear, full, incredibly lifelike. You've got to hear the Wave Radio to believe it, and now you can. Satisfaction guaranteed. Call toll-free to hear it in your home. Ask about our popular interest-free 6-month payment plan. Experience big stereo sound from a radio. Call today. It will make a difference in the way you listen to music. A big difference.
The noise, too much for this young tyke. But he'll take it. This is the excitement of the game. So now it's 131-127. Chicago has the ball, and keep in mind that man Michael Jordan, who has 59 points, has missed his last 4 shots.
Well, he finally might be getting tired.
No.
You don't think so?
No, I'm kidding. He should have been tired an hour and a half ago. Ainge guarding Michael Jordan. Jordan goes up with a shot and hits it, and has 61 points to tie Elgin Baylor's all-time single-game playoff record that he established against these Celtics 24 years ago. McHale working against Corzine. And Jordan the rebound, and with a minute and a half to play and 2 overtimes, Chicago looking to tie.
And the Bulls took off the double team that time in respect for Seasting and Ainge's outside shooting.
Jordan with 8 on the clock. Jordan ties the game.
Oh, boy.
63 points, and you're looking at an all-time record.
Oh, boy.
Michael Jordan.
That was a fantastic move. I mean, he went over 3 guys that time.
No one has ever scored more points in a single playoff game in NBA history than Michael Jordan. A minute to go, and tied at 131. 7 on the shot clock. McHale to Seasting. Open. And the Celtics regain the lead. And if you don't think Jerry Seasting has been maybe the missing ingredient to the Celtics this year, just see what he's done in this game. 8 points, but big 8 points. An incredible shooting.
He went down and doubled at the last instant, and Seasting got the easy shot. He's going to make those.
McHale is on Jordan now with 6 on the clock. He missed. Parrish, the rebound. Not to be denied, he grabbed it away from Oakley. Celtics with 24 seconds to go. And 17 on the shot clock. Lead by 2, and this is a critical possession. How many times have we said that? 10 on the clock. pick and roll parry.
A big rebound, and somebody hit him at the ankles, I think. The great timing, and as Oakley going down, getting his foot trapped, got it up the court. A little pick and roll. He goes strong to the hoop and just straight up with it. That's pressure basketball, making the big ones when they count.
They got 9 seconds remaining to the Bulls and 1 timeout, and they need 2 possessions, really. A 3-pointer, and they need a possession again.
I was very impressed with the real confidence of Jerry Seasting at key points. It's going to give Casey Jones, if he hasn't already got a world of confidence in Seasting, to use them in real key situations down the stretch. He might end up in the playoffs being the designated double team breaker when the Celtics really try to exploit that inside game.
They'll go to Chicago to play what the Bulls hope, if they do not come back and win this one, 2 games at Chicago Stadium. It's a best of 5. The Celtics are 9 seconds away from taking a 2-0 lead, but they won't escape out of here without the fight of their lives.
You know, the other surprise is that Danny Ainge has not fouled out with Michael Jordan handling that ball.
Bird didn't foul out either.
Well, I'm saying Ainge played very smart defense. He knew he had to stay in this game.
Especially with Dennis Johnson fouling out. 9 seconds to go. Chicago needs a quick basket, a foul. Hope the Celtics miss if they don't get a steal. And now the Celtics use a foul and chop off a second. Next foul will result in the bonus, so they had 1 foul to give in the overtime. Paxson looking inbound. Woolridge, 6 seconds. Woolridge for 3, way short. Throws up an air ball, and the Celtics will have it with 4 seconds to go. And a hard-fought victory for the Boston Celtics to take a 2-0 lead over Chicago in their best of 5.